All right, everyone. We're going to start. Welcome to Tales at Night. This is your library happy hour, and we are the Winnipeg Public Library.
Welcome to Tales at Night, from home. While you would normally find us on the stage at the Goodwill Social Club, reading aloud stories for adults, these days we are following the advice from our public health professionals, and just like you, we are staying home. We are thrilled to still be able to present our Tales at Night Storytime program for grown-ups, from our homes to yours. Enjoy. Please note, these stories are written and read aloud for adults and are not recommended for children.
Welcome everyone to Tales at Night from Home. We're happy that you could join us for another episode. My name is Kirsten, and you would normally find me at the Harvey Smith Library, but this afternoon I am here in my living room. And across the screen from me is...
Hi, I'm Trevor, and normally you find me at the Louis Riel Library, but this afternoon I am in my kitchen. Across the screen from me is...
Hi, I'm Tauni, and I am in Trevor's office at Louis Riel Library today.
And I'm Ed. You would possibly find me at Millennium Library or maybe another library. And I am not there. I am here in my study/music room. Happy to be here.
Thanks everyone for joining us. So today we are going to be recording another Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury writes a lot of wonderful short stories. So today, from the collection entitled The Stories of Ray Bradbury, we will be reading The Screaming Woman by Ray Bradbury.
My name is Margaret Leary, and I'm 10 years old and in 5th grade at Central School. I haven't any brothers or sisters, but I've got a nice father and mother, except they don't pay any attention to me. And anyway, we never thought we'd have anything to do with a murdered woman, or almost anyway. When you're just living on a street like we live on, you don't think awful things are going to happen, like shooting or stabbing or burying people under the ground, practically in your backyard. And when it does happen, you don't believe it. You just go on buttering your toast or baking a cake. I got to tell you how it happened. It was a noon in the middle of July. It was hot. And Mama said to me,
Margaret, you go to the store and buy some ice cream. It's Saturday. Dad's home for lunch, so we'll have a treat.
I ran out across the empty lot behind our house. It was a big lot where kids played baseball and broken glass and stuff. And on my way back from the store with the ice cream, I was just walking along, minding my own business, when all of a sudden it happened. I heard the screaming woman. I stopped and listened. It was coming up out of the ground. A woman was buried under the rocks and dirt and glass, and she was screaming all wild and horrible for someone to dig her out. I just stood there afraid. She kept screaming, muffled. Then I started to run. I fell down, got up, and ran some more. I got in the screen door of my house, and there was Mama, calm as you please, not knowing what I knew, that there was a real live woman buried out in the back of our house just 100 yards away, screaming bloody murder. Mama!
Don't stand there with the ice cream.
Yeah, but Mama!
Put it in the ice box.
Listen, Mama, there's a screaming woman in the empty lot.
And wash your hands.
She was screaming and screaming.
Let's see now, salt and pepper.
Listen to me. We gotta dig her out. She's buried under tons and tons of dirt, and if we don't dig her out, she'll choke up and die.
I'm certain she can wait until after lunch.
Mama, don't you believe me?
Of course, dear. Now, wash your hands and take this plate of meat into your father.
I don't even know who she is or how she got there, but we gotta help her before it's too late.
Good gosh, look at this ice cream. What did you do, just stand in the sun and let it melt?
Well, the empty lot.
Go on now, scoot.
I went into the dining room. Hi, Dad, there's a screaming woman in the empty lot.
I never knew a woman who didn't.
I'm serious.
You look very grave.
We've got to get picks and shovels and excavate, like for an Egyptian mummy.
I don't feel like an archaeologist, Margaret. Now, some nice cool October day, I'll take you up on that.
But we can't wait that long! I almost screamed. My heart was bursting in me. I was excited and scared and afraid, and here was Dad putting meat on his plate, cutting and chewing and paying me no attention. Dad! Dad, you just gotta come out after lunch and help me. Dad, I'll give you all the money in my piggy bank.
Well, it's a business proposition now, is it? It must be important for you to offer your perfectly good money. How much money will you pay? By the hour.
I got $5 whole that took me a year to save, and it's all yours. Dad touched my arm.
I'm touched. I'm really touched. You want me to play with you, and you're willing to pay for my time. Honest, Margaret, you make your old dad feel like a piker. I don't give you enough time. Tell you what, after lunch, I'll come out and listen to your screaming woman free of charge.
Will you? Oh, will you really?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I'll do. But you must promise me one thing.
What?
If I come out, you must eat all your lunch first.
I promise.
Okay.
Mother came in and sat down, and we started to eat.
Not so fast.
I slowed down. Then I started eating fast again.
You heard your mother.
The screaming woman! We gotta hurry!
I intend sitting here quietly and judiciously, giving my attention first to my steak, then to my potatoes, and my salad, of course, and then to my ice cream, and after that to a long drink of iced coffee, if you don't mind. I may be a good hour at it. And another thing, young lady, if you mention her name, this screaming woman, once more at this table during lunch, I won't go out with you to hear her recital.
Yes, sir.
Is that understood?
Yes, sir. Lunch was 1,000,000 years long. Everybody moved in slow motion, like those films you see at the movies. Mama got up slow, got down slow, and forks and knives and spoons moved slow. Even the flies in the room were slow, and Dad's cheek muscles moved slow. It was so slow. I wanted to scream. Hurry, oh please, rush, get up, run around, come on, outrun. But no, I had to sit, and all the while we sat there, slowly eating our lunch. Out there in the empty lot, I could hear her screaming in my mind. Scream! Was the screaming woman all alone while the world ate its lunch, and the sun was hot, and the lot was empty as the sky.
There we are.
Now will you come out to see the screaming woman?
First, a little more iced coffee.
Speaking of screaming women, Charlie Nesbitt and his wife Helen had another fight last night.
Oh, that's nothing new. They're always fighting.
You ask me, Charlie's no good. Or her either.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's pretty nice.
You're prejudiced. After all, you almost married her.
Oh, you're going to bring that up again. After all, I was only engaged to her 6 weeks.
You showed some sense when you broke it off.
Oh, you know Helen, always stage struck. Wanted to travel in a trunk. I just couldn't see it. That broke it up. She was sweet, though. Sweet and kind.
And what did it get her? A terrible brute of a husband like Charlie.
Dad?
I'll give you that. Charlie has got a terrible temper. Remember when Helen had the lead in our high school graduation play? Pretty as a picture. She wrote some songs for it herself. That was the summer she wrote that song for me.
Ha!
Don't laugh. It was a good song.
You never told me about that song.
It was between Helen and me. Let's see. How did it go?
Dad?
You better take your daughter out to the back lot before she collapses. You can sing me that wonderful song later.
Okay, come on, you.
Said Dad, and I ran him out of the house. The empty lot was still empty and hot, and the glass sparkled green and white and brown all around where the bottles lay.
Now, where's this screaming woman?
We forgot the shovels.
We'll get them later, after we hear the soloist.
I took him over to the spot. Listen, I said. We listened.
I don't hear anything.
Shh, wait. We listened some more. Hey there, screaming woman! We heard the sun in the sky. We heard the wind in the trees real quiet. We heard a bus far away running along. We heard a car pass. That was all.
Margaret, I suggest you go lie down and put a damp cloth on your forehead.
But she was here. I heard her screaming and screaming and screaming. See, here's where the ground's been dug up. I called frantically at the earth. Hey there, you down there!
Margaret, this is the place where Mr. Kelly dug yesterday a big hole to bury his trash and garbage in.
But during the night, someone else used Mr. Kelly's burying place to bury a woman and covered it all over again.
Well, I'm going back in and take a cool shower.
You won't help me dig?
You better not stay out here too long. It's hot.
Dad walked off. I heard the back door slam. I stamped on the ground. Darn! The screaming started again. She screamed and screamed. Maybe she'd just been tired and was resting, and now she began it all over, just for me. I stood in the empty lot in the hot sun, and I felt like crying. I ran back to the house and banged on the door. Dad! She's screaming again!
Sure. Come on.
And he led me to my upstairs bedroom.
Here.
He made me lie down and put a cold rag on my head.
Just take it easy.
I began to cry. Oh, Dad, we can't let her die. She's all buried like that person in that story by Edgar Allan Poe. And think how awful it is to be screaming and no one paying any attention.
I forbid you to leave the house. You just lie there for the rest of the afternoon.
He went out and locked the door. I heard him and Mother talking in the front room. After a while, I stopped crying. I got up and tiptoed to the window. My room was upstairs. It seemed high. I took a sheet off the bed and tied it to the bedpost and let it out the window. Then I climbed out of the window and shinnied down until I touched the ground. Then I ran to the garage quiet and I got a couple of shovels and ran to the empty lot. It was hotter than ever. And I started to dig, and all the while I dug, the screaming woman screamed. It was hard work, shoving in the shovel and lifting the rocks and glass, and I knew I'd be doing it all afternoon, and maybe I wouldn't finish in time. What could I do? Run tell other people? But they'd be like Mom and Dad and pay no attention. I just kept digging all by myself. About 10 minutes later, Dippy Smith came along the path through the empty lot. He's my age and goes to my school.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Dippy.
What are you doing?
Digging.
Well, for what?
I got a screaming lady in the ground. I'm digging for her.
Oh, I don't hear no screaming.
You sit down and wait a while, and you'll hear her scream yet. Or better still, help me dig.
Oh, I don't dig unless I hear a scream.
We waited. Listen! Did you hear it?
Hey. Yeah, that's okay. Do it again.
Do what again?
The scream.
Well, we gotta wait.
Well, no, do it again. Go on.
He dug in his pocket for a brown marble.
Hey, here. I'll give you this marble if you do it again.
A scream came out of the ground.
Oh, hot dog. Teach me to do it.
He danced around as if I was a miracle. I don't...
Did you get to throw your own voice book for a dime from that magic company in Dallas, Texas? Oh, you got one of those tin ventriloquist contraptions in your mouth?
Yeah. I lied, for I wanted him to help. If you help dig, I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, swell. Yeah. Give me a shovel.
We both dug together, and from time to time the woman screamed.
Oh, boy. You think she was right underfoot? You're wonderful, Maggie. Well, what's her name?
Who?
The screaming woman. You must have a name for her.
Oh, sure. Her name is Wilma Swiger, and she's a rich old woman, 96 years old, and she was buried by a man named Spike, who counterfeited $10 bills.
Oh, yes, sir.
And there's hidden treasure buried with her, and I'm a grave robber, come to dig her out and get it, I gasped, digging excitedly.
Oh, can I be a grave robber too? Oh, no. Let's pretend it's the Princess Amanatra, an Egyptian queen covered with diamonds.
We kept digging, and I thought, oh, we will rescue her. We will, if only we keep on.
Hey, I just got an idea.
And he ran off and got a piece of cardboard. He scribbled on it with crayon. Keep digging! We can't stop!
No, I'm making a sign, see? Slumberland Cemetery. We can bury some birds and beetles here in matchboxes and stuff. I'll go find some butterflies.
No, Dippy!
Oh, yeah, no, it's way more fun that way. I'll get me a dead cat, too, maybe.
Dippy, use your shovel, please!
Oh, I'm tired. I think I'm going to go home and take a nap.
You can't do that.
Well, who says so?
Dippy, there's something I want to tell you.
What?
He gave the shovel a kick. I whispered in his ear, there's really a woman buried here.
What? Well, sure there is. Yeah, you said it, Maggie.
You don't believe me either.
Tell me how you throw your voice and I'll keep on digging.
But I can't tell you because I'm not doing it. Look, Dippy, I'll stand way over here and you listen there. The screaming woman screamed again.
Hey, there really is a woman here.
That's what I tried to say.
Let's dig.
We dug for 20 minutes.
Oh, I wonder who she is.
I don't know.
Well, I wonder if it's Mrs. Nelson or Mrs. Turner or Mrs. Bradley. Oh, I wonder if she's pretty. I wonder what color her hair is. I wonder if she's 30 or 90 or 60.
Dig! The mound grew high.
Hey, I wonder if she'll reward us for digging her up.
Sure.
A quarter, you think?
More than that, I bet it's $1. Dippy remembered as he dug.
You know, I read a book once of magic. There was this guy with no clothes on who crept down to a grave and slept there for 60 days, not eating anything, no malts, no chewing gum, no candy, no air, for 60 days. Oh, say, wouldn't it be awful if it was only a radio buried here and us working so hard?
A radio's nice. It'd be all ours. Just then, a shadow fell across us.
Hey, you kids. What do you think you're doing?
We turned. It was Mr. Kelly, the man who owned the empty lot.
Oh.
Hello, Mr. Kelly.
Hi, Mr. Kelly.
Tell you what I want you to do. I want you to take those shovels and take that soil and shovel it right back in that hole you've been digging. That's what I want you to do.
My heart started beating fast again. I wanted to scream myself. But, Mr. Kelly, there's a screaming woman and...
I'm not interested. I don't hear a thing.
Listen! The scream. Mr. Kelly listened and shook his head.
Don't hear nothing. Go on now. Fill it up and get home with you before I give you my foot.
We filled the hole all back in again. And all the while we filled it in, Mr. Kelly stood there, arms folded, and the woman screamed, but Mr. Kelly pretended not to hear it. When we were finished, Mr. Kelly stomped off, saying,
Go on home now. And if I catch you here again, why,
I turned to Dippy. He's the one.
Huh?
He murdered Mrs. Kelly. He buried her here after he strangled her in a box, but she came to. Why, he stood right here and she screamed and he wouldn't pay any attention.
Hey, that's right. He stood right here. He lied to us.
There's only one thing to do. Call the police and have them come arrest Mr. Kelly. We ran for the corner store telephone. The police knocked on Mr. Kelly's door 5 minutes later. Dippy and I were hiding in the bushes listening.
Mr. Kelly?
yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Is Mrs. Kelly at home?
Yes, sir.
Well, may we see her, sir?
Of course. Hey, Anna!
Mrs. Kelly came to the door and looked out.
Oh, I beg your pardon. We had a report that you were buried out in an empty lot, Mrs. Kelly. It sounded like a child made the call, but we had to be certain. Sorry to have troubled you.
Oh, it's those blasted kids. If I ever catch them, I'll rip them limb from limb.
Cheese it?
Said Dippy, and we both ran. What'll we do now?
I gotta go home. Oh boy, we're really in trouble. We're gonna get a licking for this.
But what about the screaming woman?
Ah, to heck with her. We don't dare go near that empty lot again. Old man Kelly will be waiting around with his razor strap and lambast the heck out of us. And I just happen to remember, Maggie, hey, ain't old man Kelly sort of deaf, hard of hearing?
Oh my gosh, no wonder he didn't hear the screams.
So long. Oh, we sure got in trouble over your darn old ventriloquist voice. I'll be seeing you.
I was left all alone in the world. No one to help me, no one to believe me at all. I just wanted to crawl down in that box with a screaming woman and die. The police were after me now for lying to them, only I didn't know it was a lie. And my father was probably looking for me too, or he would be once he found my bed empty. There was only one last thing to do, and I did it. I went from house to house all down the street near the empty lot, and I rang every bell, and when the door opened, I said, "I beg your pardon, Mrs. Griswold, but is anyone missing from your house?" Or, "Hello, Mrs. Pikes, you're looking fine today. Glad to see you're home." And once I saw that the lady of the house was home, I just chatted a while to be polite and went on down the street. The hours were rolling along. It was getting late. I kept thinking, oh, there's only so much air in that box with that woman under the earth, and if I don't hurry, she'll suffocate, and I gotta rush. So I rang bells and knocked on doors, and it got later. I was just about to give up and go home when I knocked on the last door, which was the door of Mr. Charlie Nesbitt, who lives next to us. I kept knocking and knocking. Instead of Mrs. Nesbitt, or Helen, as my father calls her, coming to the door, why, it was Mr. Nesbitt, Charlie himself.
Oh, it's you, Margaret.
Yes, good afternoon.
Well, what can I do for you, kid?
Well, I thought I'd like to see your wife, Mrs. Nesbitt.
Oh.
May I?
Oh, well, she's gone to the store.
I'll wait, I said, and slipped in past him.
Hey.
I sat down in a chair. My, it's a hot day, I said, trying to be calm, thinking about the empty lot and air going out of the box and the screams getting weaker and weaker.
Say, listen, kid, I don't think you better wait.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Well, my wife won't be back.
Oh?
Well, I mean, not today. She's gone to the store, like I said, but she's going on from there to visit her mother. Yeah. She's going to visit her mother in Schenectady. She'll be back, 2 or 3 days, maybe a week.
That's a shame.
Why?
I wanted to tell her something.
What?
I just wanted to tell her there's a woman buried over in the empty lot, screaming under tons and tons of dirt. Mr. Nesbitt dropped his cigarette. You dropped your cigarette, Mr. Nesbitt. I pointed it with my shoe.
Did I? Oh, so I did. Well, I'll tell Helen when she comes home your story. She'll be glad to hear it.
Thanks. It's a real woman.
How do you know it is?
I heard her.
Well, I mean, how do you know it isn't a mandrake root?
What's that?
Well, a mandrake. It's kind of a plant, kid. They scream. I know, I read it once. How do you know it ain't a mandrake?
I never thought of that.
Well, you better start thinking.
He lit another cigarette, trying to be casual.
Say, hey, kid, do you say anything about this to anyone?
Sure, I told lots of people. Mr. Nesbitt burned his hand on his match.
Well, is there anyone doing anything about it?
No, they won't believe me.
Well, of course, naturally, you're nothing but a kid. Well, why would they listen to you?
I'm going back now and dig her out with a spade.
Wait.
I gotta go.
No, stick around.
Thanks, but no. He took my arm.
You know how to play cards, kid? Blackjack?
Yes, sir. He took out a deck of cards from a desk.
Oh, we'll have a game.
I gotta go dig.
Oh, there'll be plenty of time for that. Anyway, maybe my wife will be home. Sure, yeah, that's it. You wait for her. Just wait a little while.
You think she will be?
Oh, sure, kid. Yeah, stay. Yep. About that voice, though, did you say it was very strong?
Well, it gets weaker all the time. Mr. Nesbitt sighed and smiled.
You and your kid games. Here, now, let's play that game of blackjack. It's more fun than screaming women.
I gotta go. It's late.
No, stick around. You got nothing to do.
I knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to keep me in his house until the screaming died down and was gone. He was trying to keep me from helping her.
My wife will be home in 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. Wait, just sit right there.
We played cards. The clock ticked. The sun went down in the sky. It was getting late. The screaming got fainter and fainter in my mind. I gotta go.
No, another game. Another game. Wait another hour, kid. My wife will come home yet. Just wait.
In another hour, he looked at his watch.
Well, kid, I guess you can go.
And I knew what his plan was. He'd sneak down in the middle of the night and dig up his wife, still alive, and take her somewhere else and bury her good.
So long, kid. So long.
He let me go because he thought that by now, the air must be all gone from the box. The door shut in my face. I went back near the empty lot and hid in some bushes. What could I do? Tell my folks? But they hadn't believed me. Call the police on Mr. Charlie Nesbitt? But he said his wife was away visiting. Nobody would believe me. I watched Mr. Kelly's house. He wasn't in sight. I ran over to the place where the screaming had been and just stood there. The screaming had stopped. It was so quiet, I thought I would never hear a scream again. It was all over. I was too late, I thought. I bent down and put my ear against the ground. Then I heard it. Way down, way deep, and so faint I could hardly hear it. The woman wasn't screaming anymore. She was singing something about, I loved you fair, I loved you well. It was sort of a sad song, very faint and sort of broken. All of those hours down under the ground in that box must have sort of made her crazy. All she needed was some air and food and she'd be all right. But she just kept singing, not wanting to scream anymore, not caring, just singing. I listened to that song. Then I turned and walked straight across the lot and up the steps to my house and opened the front door. Father!
So there you are.
Father!
You're going to get a licking.
She's not screaming anymore.
Don't talk about her.
She's singing now.
You're not telling the truth.
Dad, she's out there. She'll be dead soon if you don't listen to me. She's out there singing. And this is what she's singing. I hummed the tune. I sang a few of the words. I loved you fair. I loved you well. Dad's face grew pale. He came and took my arm.
What did you say?
I sang it again. I loved you fair. I loved you well.
Where did you hear that song?
Out in the empty lot just now.
But that's Helen's song, the one she wrote years ago for me. You can't know it. Nobody knew it except Helen and me. I never sang it to anyone, not you or anyone.
Sure.
Oh my God.
He cried and ran out the door to get a shovel. The last I saw of him, he was in the empty lot digging, and lots of other people with him digging. I felt so happy I wanted to cry. I dialed the number on the phone, and when Dippy answered, I said, "Hi, Dippy. Everything's fine. Everything's worked out keen. The screaming woman isn't screaming anymore.
Swell.
I'll meet you in the empty lot with a shovel in 2 minutes," I
Well,
said.
last one there's a monkey. So long.
"So long, Dippy," I said, and ran.
And that was The Screaming Woman by Ray Bradbury. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Tales at Night from Home, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.